What's up, guys? Welcome to Bold Chat. This is our first Thursday afternoon Bold Chat live stream. Very excited to be here. Very excited to once again have some amazing guests with me today. Thank you so much for joining. Please, please, please use the comment section, chat, give feedback, ask questions. Love to pull those questions and comments up on the screen. So I love to make this as interactive as possible. Really enjoying this live stream life, this new thing. So Bold Chat is a new twice a week live stream where we kind of talk current events, culture, hot topics, whatever's going on out there with fun guests all the time. So just switching it up. And today is another action-packed one that I'm really excited about. We're going to kick it off with a few guests, and we're going to have some other surprise guests joining as we go along. So we're here, for a bit, and very excited to be here. Like I said, please feel free to comment, feedback, questions, all that jazz. And we've got some fun topics up for you tonight. Please share the stream. That would be amazing. We want to get as many folks in the room as possible to join the conversation. So thanks again. So to kick off this incredible conversation of Bold Chats, I'm going to go ahead and bring my guests up. We've got Adam Coleman, Jay, and Carmine Sabia in the room. What's up, guys? Thanks so much for being here.
And
yeah, I'm so excited for you. Absolutely. I thought maybe we could kick it off. You good, Carmine? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, everybody else is horizontal, man. I was vertical.
So, Carmine, this is the first time that you've been on Bold Chat on the live stream, so we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I did want to. You just had a book. You just had a book launch, Program to Obey. Did you want to talk about that at all?
Of course I do. I'm a self-promoter. I'm a self-promoter. No, but seriously, it's actually a really good book. Angela, I got to send you a copy. You have to text me after the show, but it's actually a really good book. So what it does is it dissects what happened from the introduction of TV to most homes, which is in the 1950s, to what's going on today and what you see now, and how TV was actually a really massive instrument to break down the American family, to take masculinity away from the fathers. And you can look, and I'll just give an example. You look at like Leave It to Beaver, right? And we're all kind of the same age here. So you look at Leave It to Beaver. We watch them on reruns. And he's a strong father. He's decisive. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. And you fast forward to one of my favorite shows of all time, Everybody Loves Raymond. I love that show. As an Italian, I love that show, right? But Ray's a complete buffoon, totally emasculated by his wife, Deborah. She's in charge of the whole family, and he's basically a cartoon character, and you can do that show by show by show. I can't think of the last time we saw a strong male leader, a leader of the home on a TV show. The Friends, they were all buffoons. Big Bang Theory, they were all messed up. King of Queens, come on, Kevin James' character was a complete dope, right? So I can't think of the last time the last time I remember a character like that, a strong father in the home, was James Evans on Good Times, and they killed him after season 3. And it became a matriarchal show after that. So my book lays it all out, and it's actually, like I said, it's a really good book. It's a quick read. It's 122 pages. We will do a sequel, but it's a really good read. So it's called Program to Obey, How TV Destroyed America's Soul, and it is available on Amazon. And it's been a new release #1 bestseller for the past 4 days. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Very excited.
Incredible. And I aspire to hopefully write a book one day. So I'm always inspired to hear about that and the process. And I know it's quite a process. So congratulations on all of that. I'm sure it's been in the works for a while. A lot of
the Bold Lib Files.
yeah, that's not, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Life is an adventure, but that's really cool. That actually kind of reminds me of a topic that came up last week. well, Adam and Jay we were kind of also talking about TV recently and just how it's changed so much, and that things like, wouldn't fly anymore, and how things have sort of become more woke. And so that is really interesting. I would love to read it.
It's on the way.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Same with Jay and Adam. I think this is such a good group to kind of process Tuesday a bit, as our first sort of topic up for discussion is thoughts about the elections. On Tuesday, takeaways, surprises. It was a big night for Democrats. And, some of you, well, all of you guys are kind of in areas where these elections happen: Jersey, Georgia, New York City. How are you guys feeling about things? Are there any surprises for you?
Well, for me, I'm conservative, so I can, I care about, gains for the, the conservative movement and stuff like that. And from my perspective, the GOP was largely flat-footed, right? They were anticipating more support because of what happened last year. And so what they saw was people showing up for President Trump and voting down ballot, and they anticipated having the same level of support with very little effort. And so they hardly put in any effort that I saw. And I'm a precinct chair. I'm a delegate. I'm also a poll worker, and I didn't see it from my perspective. And so that's disappointing, because we if what President Trump is what he sold is what we're trying to accomplish, then why aren't we helping him? Why aren't we trying to get behind the movement, trying to help him accomplish these goals? And it's extremely frustrating. Why do we even have an RNC chair? I really don't see what the person does. I don't see great. Yeah, they're probably fundraising, but the thing is they're donating to the wrong candidates. They're donating to these establishment politicians that we don't really want. And so, from my perspective, they're really a useless entity. And we get a whole lot more out of these PACs like Turning Point and Early Vote Action, who are trying to really change things and listen to the people, what they want, and trying to get what they want. It's a frustrating day to me. Scott Pressler posted about it a while back, and he said bookmark this, and everything that he predicted happened. And so we saw it play out, and hopefully people listen to him, because he knows a lot. He knows how to get people motivated to help. He's got people nationwide sending postcards. I did it for him, and he's very available to people too, to give them guidance and stuff like that. So I wish he had a larger role, because I think he could help out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super impressed and inspired by the hard work that Scott does, and I'm sure it's extremely frustrating. So hopefully that will, inspire people, those calls to action, and what can be, done going forward.
To his point, what he's talking about, we came really close last time in Jersey, really close, within a whisker. And the thing that's different from Republicans and Democrats, and it's a big difference, Democrats can lose Texas for 100 years, and they're still going to try and get Texas every single election. Republicans lose a state twice, and they're like, peace, we're gone. We're never coming back. There was no help for Chitterelli. I mean, look, and I like Jack. We had some uninspiring candidates, right? Winston Sears, Jack Chitterelli. These were not exciting people that rile you up and get you to go to the polls like a Mamdani does, right? They're talking about facts and reality, and Mamdani is selling dreams and nonsense, okay? But it works. Trump gets people to the polls because Trump gins that up. But I think, to his point, I would make Pressler the head of the RNC, frankly. This guy's got the drive. He was begging people to come to Jersey. Trump should have came to Jersey. J.D. Vance should have came to Jersey. They put no effort in, almost no money. And you see the results. Jersey's a winnable state. It is a winnable state. Cheryl did not excite the people. And she's a nice lady. I've spoken to her. She's not a bad person. She's certainly not a Mamdani. But she didn't excite the voter base. But you didn't. Jack ran 3 times, man. 3 times. You got the same candidate running 3 times. Let somebody else, young, exciting, take a shot and put Pressler in charge of the damn RNC.
So, and actually, I purposely wanted to go last because I was curious. So,
nice play.
So, as my disclaimer, I am not a Republican. I'm an independent. I've been voting Republican lately because we only have one relatively sane party. So that's my general stance. As far as these elections, because I'm not a Republican, at one point I was a Democrat. So I understand what it's like to be on the left and be, center right and around a lot of Republicans. A lot of people don't know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence. And so everyone presumes that the opposition is a lot smarter, a lot stronger, and a lot more together than they actually are. Many of the same things, Carmine, that you're saying about the Democrats say about Republicans. And it's actually funny to me because I've heard this stuff for years. Each side thinks like, man, they're always sticking together. Meanwhile, you guys are like, we're always fighting. Like no one truly understands. Everyone always underestimates what they're doing, overestimates the opposition. Maybe that's a good thing, bad thing, I don't know. But I just want to first state that. The other thing is we have to keep everything in perspective. Jack, while he's not rah exciting on a national level like we're used to, right? We're used to talking about, let's say, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene who's very out there and a big personality. But he's actually the type of Republican that would win New Jersey. Because
Correct.
we're not a staunch, everyone walk around with guns, open carry state. We don't have those type of Republicans or conservatives here, right? So it's important for Republicans who don't live in the Northeast, especially, to understand like there's different flavors in different places. Like I write for the New York Post, but the Republicans who work for the New York Post are not asking for open carry in New York City. Like they're different types of people. In my opinion, Jack is the right type of person to run because he's not that aggressive. He's not that big and brash. He's not asking for radical things or what would be perceived as radical things. He's asking for common sense, relatively conservative things, and things that maybe someone who is an independent would go for. So I'm actually okay with that, but I don't necessarily disagree with you. If they want to find someone else who has a little bit more spunk or whatever to run again, I'm perfectly fine with that. But to keep everything in perspective, Jack was always going to be somewhat of a toss-up. There was effort. I spoke with Scott Pressler when he was here. I got to interview him on behalf of the New York Post and follow around different people from Early Vote Action. I've talked to other organizations that were coming out here. Happened to have someone that I met before out in Texas was here door knocking. So there was way more effort in this election coming from the Republican side than I had ever seen before. I got 2 or 3 mailers that were sent over to me because I had voted Republican in the last election. So there was way more effort this time around, in my opinion, just like visually saying, on top of that national attention than I had seen before. I am a little bit surprised at the distance of the loss. I'm not shocked that he lost, but it was a big gap. And there's already conspiracies going around, where did all these votes come from, so on and so forth. That's a whole other thing. But we just have to keep him in perspective. He was always going to be sort of a toss-up, a little bit of a long shot if he was going to win. So we already recognized that. But there was some faith behind it. And I still think, like you said, New Jersey is winnable. You just have to keep going at it. As far as Mamdani, we saw this coming. Like nobody should be shocked by this. The ego of Cuomo allowed for Mamdani to win. Everyone wanted to point their finger at Sliwa, as if the man got 7% of the vote.
But Sliwa had no chance, man. I mean, he had no chance. What the hell was he still doing in it?
Right. But at the same time, this is one of those situations, and I'm sorry if anyone's here is a Trump voter, but we go back to 2016 because I met a lot of people who were like, I don't really like Trump, but I can't stand Hillary. Right? It was like, which of the worst options do we really want?
The lesser of two evils, kind of a thing.
The lesser of two evils.
Right.
Do I go with the guy who killed grandma?
Right.
Or do I go with the guy who has some big ideas and no experience? Which one do I go with? Because I don't necessarily know enough about Sliwa, politically speaking. I know he's a New York City, legend, so to speak. But we saw this coming, and I just thought the audacity of Cuomo to run as an independent just so he can stay in the race longer.
How old are you?
Again.
How old are you, Adam?
I am 41.
You don't remember Sliwa from back in the day, the Guardian Angels, all over TV in the 80s?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, it depends obviously, it depends who you ask. But in my opinion, he's a New York City legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
had no
politically speaking, yes, exactly. What do people know about him from a political standpoint? Yeah, like you said, he had no chance in this particular election. And the polls were showing this as well. He wasn't going to overcome a 30, 40, 50 point, difference in the polls, on election day. So that wasn't going to happen.
Here's my concern though, man.
Yeah.
Here's my concern as an American. Like I said, we're all the same age, or around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, you could have put a Pez dispenser on one side of the ballot and a communist on the other, and the Pez dispenser would win. Where are we at? We're a communist. I don't know, you could say Democrat socialist all day long. Democrat socialist is a nice way to say communist. You look at the policies, you look at what they're calling for, they are communists. Bernie Sanders is a communist, Cortez is a communist, Mamdani is a communist. There is no difference between, and if anybody says Democrat socialist to me, I say, well, point to me the difference between their policies and communist policies. Show me what separates them. And nobody can, because they're the same. And so what scares me, what frightens me to my core, is that the greatest city in the world, the financial capital of the entire world, the beacon of capitalism on this planet, is now being run by a communist. They voted for a communist. They may be further left in Los Angeles at this point. But there is a bright side. There is a bright side to this for me, which is, it is the grandest stage. It is the brightest lights. We used to say in professional wrestling, the grandest stage of them all in New York City. It is the grandest stage. And when it crashes and burns, when it fails miserably, when it goes back to 1970s and 1980s New York, where we had to literally take our lives in our hands to visit New York. I visited New York a lot when I was younger, and it was a dangerous place. And when it goes back to that, and the whole world can see it, the whole country can see it, maybe then we start to break away from this being enamored with these totally far left radicals. So that's my hope.
See, here's my concern is this. My concern actually isn't with Mamdani and his policies right now, because as we all know, like, you might implement something, but it doesn't mean that enough people will notice it fast enough. You can make some changes almost immediately, and some changes take you years to even notice it. And so
I think legalizing prostitution will be a quick one to notice.
Yes, that would be one of those things. But of course, they're like, sex work is real work. You have all that.
When you're walking down Times Square and you see that coming at you, but
right. But my concern is, if the messaging is doomsday, we got a communist in office, things are going to be horrible, blah 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 blah, and then as this time is going on, people are saying it's not that bad having him here. That's the part that I'm worried about. They say, well, we were supposed to be scared. It's not that bad. I mean, things could be better, but it could be better under Adams. It could be better under de Blasio. It could be better, right? So people get more comfortable with the idea of having a Democrat socialist in power. And so then we get more of it because it's something different, and it's actually not as scary as what was preached to us. And so I think this is just in the same way as he tries to sell himself, he speaks differently in front of different audiences. He sounds like a revolutionary in front of his leftist friends. And he sounds nice and calm and reasonable, like he can be your next door neighbor to people who aren't of his ideology. And that's one really good thing, just to give, if you give anybody credit, one really good thing about communists is that they're really good at selling stuff. They're really good at selling
today. I just said today in one of my videos, Explain America on YouTube. I just said today on one of my videos, I said, Mamdani is going to do what every communist ever has done, which is work for the working people. We're going to help you. We're going to unite everybody. I got the power now. Crush my enemies. And that's what happens. Every communist ever has had the same playbook. He showed it in his victory speech, right? So that's what he's going to do. But you and I are taking up too much airspace.
No, you're fine. You guys are right on track. What did you guys think? And I have a clip I'm going to play of Mamdani in a sec. So we're right on target. What did you think of his victory speech, by the way?
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched clips of it. But that's So.
Yeah, it was Castro would be proud. Castro would have loved it. It's just who it reminded me of. It reminded me of those Castro speeches that I had watched. I'm a student of history, and you see all these, like I said, all these communist leaders like, oh, I got the power now. Okay, here we go, and these people. I saw a video today. I'm sure you guys saw it, with these girls that are like, bring on Sharia law, and I'm like, and this is where Angela's going to be mad at me. But if we could pass a law to stop white women from voting until they're like 50.
You're right. I am mad at you.
I think until they're like 50, though. You're all, when you're 50, you can vote. But I think you have to have some life experience, because there is nothing dumber. There is nothing on this planet dumber than a white woman between the ages of 18 and 25. Nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, I don't like generalizations, so I think everything is a case-by-case basis, and we can't treat all white women of a certain age.
I'm teasing.
But I have to say that's the bold lib in me. So
yes. I don't really believe that.
No, yeah, I hear you. But yeah, in terms of the victory speech, I don't know. Some might call it bold. I don't know if that's my definition of bold per se, but. Quoting socialists, a dose of some, Red Scare, I think, kind of going on. Any other thoughts on that? And then I'll play this other.
Well, I think I think we're remiss here. We're 25 minutes into this, and we have not wished Nancy Pelosi a happy retirement. And I happen to have right here my Nancy Pelosi action figure, and so I'd like to wish her a happy retirement and. Godspeed, Nancy.
We'll keep it close by, because that is on the agenda for today as well. So we will get into that next. But real quick, let's play this Mamdani video.
Good morning, New York City. Thank you. Last night we made history, and today we begin the work of making a new administration. Welcome to the transition. This is the period over the next few months where we build a city hall that delivers on the promises of our campaign, to make New York City affordable and to make government accountable to the people it serves. As we prepare to govern, we'll start announcing the leaders who will help implement our agenda. People like deputy mayors, who oversee entire areas of government, and the commissioners who carry out the critical work of city agencies. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and a hunger to solve old problems with new solutions. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, and working people who know better than anyone what our neighborhoods deserve. And this will be a period, like the campaign we ran and the city hall to come, defined by transparency. Because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day, and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. And it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
Where's the Bernie meme when you need it? I have to ask you again one more time, for a donation. I'm wondering, I'm conservative, so you can probably guess how I feel about this guy, but I'm wondering how do moderate liberals feel about him? What is your opinion of him and his ideas?
Well, yeah, I think the funniest part, and I should have told everyone, wait till the end, because that's the big, right? Everything's going to be free. And now all of a sudden it's
send me money,
give me money, send me money. Like, so I think it's, for me, like I've had a lot of concerns about him and, he's not like, it's the salesman piece, right? The snake oil salesman. Like, I just don't find him trustworthy. I don't know how all these things that he's promising are feasible. And the safety piece for me has always been a big one, because that's, part of my big reason for leaving New York City recently was feeling unsafe in the subway. And I am a mental health counselor. And for him to be proposing things like having me, go down in the subway and, to a mentally ill, person having, like, I didn't even want to be in that situation, like traveling to work on the subway. So
I couldn't imagine Angela coming to save the day.
I mean, right? Like, I'm okay. I have a mental health background, but like maybe like a team, you can't just like take the police and law enforcement out of that equation.
I didn't know that, by the way. We should talk after the show because I could use some mental help.
Absolutely. I hear that from a lot of people. So like a lot of stuff like that, it's, I always kind of compare it to people running for class president. It's like free pizza and, whatever.
I said that the other day. Yeah. This guy ran an 8th grade class president campaign and he won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like how?
It reminds me of Bloomberg, when I think he was running for president, he was like pie in the sky ideas, it's absolutely ridiculous. But the thing is like the moderates in the establishment politician are afraid of the more extreme left, the more extreme right? We're not coming together. I think we're getting further and further apart because, the Nancy Pelosi's and stuff, they're afraid of AOC and stuff. They draw huge crowds. They draw a lot of support. And so they scare them. And so I don't see us coming closer together. I think we're getting further and further apart the way things go. And you almost have to be a hard left or a hard right to even be considered now and to gain support. And so it's crazy the way things are going. I hate that, the largest city in the USA that Republicans just basically back down from that. I think we should put, a stronger candidate. We should groom somebody better, somebody who inspires people to at least try for that city. My gosh, we may not win it, but, try for it. I mean, it's
Giuliani was mayor not that long ago.
Of America.
Giuliani was the mayor not that long ago. I mean, it's not like we're that far removed from a Republican mayor that it's impossible.
It's not impossible, but the difference is that, New York City is a transient city. They have a lot of people who aren't from New York City that move there. And so I think that changes the makeup. Because when I talk to like people who were born and raised in New York, their temperament is different. Like they're more hardened. Good people like to brag a lot, but but their temperament is a lot different than the suburbanite kid who got enough money to get an apartment in Manhattan, and now they want to make sure they can get lattes on every corner. Like these are different types of people, and so
I was raised 10 minutes from New York City in Newark, so
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. As far as him being a snake oil salesman, I mean, yeah, 1000%. When you publicly say, depending on who I'm in front of, I speak differently. I mean, that as a mental health professional, that is a trait of a narcissist.
Right.
He's a narcissist for sure.
Right. You just wear a mask, right? It's like him looking at the camera. And one more thing.
Yeah.
So I actually think I'm actually an advocate for talking more about personality traits and personality disorders amongst the people that we're looking to support. Because we like to throw around narcissists, but you're not supposed to diagnose people, blah, 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 blah. But you can see stuff and you can say, that doesn't look right. And so narcissism doesn't have a party line. Like you can see it all around it. I've recently, and maybe I'll talk about it.
Real quick, before you say this, Coach, wouldn't you argue that to be a politician, you almost have to be a narcissist?
Almost.
Right.
There are good ones. And listen, narcissism, in my opinion, is a spectrum, right? So we all have our own self-interests. At times, we go too far. I'm actually less concerned with narcissists. I'm more concerned with sociopaths.
Yeah.
So we actually have a much bigger problem with the sociopaths, especially in the commentary world and public policy and things of that nature, who can only see the thing that they want and actually don't care how it destroys people. So I think that's much more concerning. I don't know if he's a sociopath. I haven't seen enough of him.
A good example.
Situations.
Good example of a sociopath in popular culture would be Tony Soprano, right?
Yeah.
So, I agree with you. I actually was going to make a donation to his team, and it was transition. No, it was transition 2025. I went to a different site. It was a whole different kind of transition. I was very disturbed. I left and totally forgot about it. But listen, this guy is, here's what scares me. Let's step away from this guy for a second here. Here's what actually scares me. Read a tweet, and hey, it wasn't just one tweet. I read several tweets after he won. And what frightens me is the ignorance, and I know I sound like a jerk saying it, but let's be honest. The ignorance of the American voter. Okay? There's people, so many people, this guy could be president someday. Well, yeah, if you ignore the Constitution, he could be president someday. But it's this idea that these people, it bothers me that these mindless zombies, their vote counts the same as mine. That bothers me. Since I was a kid, have advocated there should be a test. There should be a test before you vote. It's just a common sense test. Just, are you able to operate in the world? Do you understand anything about economics? Anything at all? Can you add these numbers together? Something that says, hey, look, you're able to vote. I mean, think about it. We don't let just anybody perform surgery. We don't let just anybody drive a car. But we just let just any moron pick the leader of the free world. If I had a time machine, I'd go back to the founding fathers and be like, look, this electoral college thing, give it some more thought. Because we need to really have some people in here that know what the hell they're talking about. To have everybody, this is why democracies fail, right? Because look, think of the dumbest person you've ever met in your life. The dumbest. Close your eyes, think real hard. The dumbest person you ever met in your life. Then realize that half the country's dumber than that person. And they're voting, and they're driving, and they're having kids, and they're raising more dummies. And it's just, idiocracy becomes thing. And sadly, that movie's going to become a documentary. And the people that, like I said, the people that voted for this guy are so ignorant. They're not bad people. But I have this idea. I think about 80% of the population worldwide are what we call NPCs, right? They have a couple catchphrases they know a couple things, they can move their arms and legs and mouth, but they're basically non-player characters. They're basically just robotic, going through life, going through the motions. I think about 80% of the people in the world are that. And to the other 20% of us, we just it blows our mind that these people exist and can function, but they're the majority. They're the majority. We are the minority. They're the majority.
I mean, you make some good points. I definitely hear you because, it affects our lives, right? These decisions are big decisions that, matter in our lives and our rights. And, it's true in the sense I've seen so many videos where people go around and ask, it's embarrassing, ask why people are voting for Mamdani. And just getting humiliated, just getting blasted. They don't, because again, it goes back to that whole, it's come up a lot in this conversation so far about people who are charming, that are good at selling, and it sounds good on paper, and they do have that charm and that appeal that win people over, that's very influential. But when you ask people the question, why are you voting for, they really can't answer it.
So if, in defense of, as you put it, the NPC, what I would say is life is difficult and people have their priorities. And I understand for people like ourselves, we pay attention to politics, right? We're tuned into it. But in many ways, we are in a bubble, and we actually make politics overly important when it is important, but it's not nearly as important.
I understand.
And so, you know, for the regular person, listen, if I am, we'll just use New Jersey. I'm living in the most expensive state in the country, essentially. And I got to go to work every day, and I'm doing all these different things. And I tacitly pay attention to politics every so often, but I got a kid at home, I got a wife, I got to go to work for 8 to 10 hours a day. My primary interest is not of, did Donald Trump sneeze today or not? My primary interest is my world around me. And so when they hear, they're going to hear certain things, and with limited information, they react. They use, it's like if you meet a guy for the first time, right? You only have 30 minutes with this person. And within that 30 minutes, you have to assess, is this guy a good guy or a bad guy? Would you hang out with this guy or would you not hang out with this guy? And so with limited information, you don't know anything about him. You don't know if he has an arrest record. You know nothing about this person. You have to do the best you can to assess this person. And that's what voters end up doing. So that's why we're like, why would they fall for this catchphrase? It's because that's all I got. Listen, I've been busy. I can't look up his tweets, right? I don't even go on X. I have no idea that this man said all this revolutionary stuff. Now, if you show them and they're still down with it, then feel free to call them an idiot, right?
But I'm not saying, and I don't want to interrupt. We have a new guest here. I don't want to take too much time here, but I'm not saying all NPCs are bad or all NPCs shouldn't vote. I'm just saying a simple test to show me you're not a moron. You don't need to be politically savvy. Just show me you can like add some numbers, you know, formulate an idea or a thought. That's all I'm saying.
Hi, George Santos. Thank you so much for entering the Bold Chat. We're so excited to have you. We're on a topic that I'm sure you have a lot to say. We're talking about the elections and the results and the frustrations. And
there was an election? I didn't notice.
Yeah.
And I just learned that New Jersey is the most expensive state in the country. I didn't notice that either.
Well, move to New Jersey, buddy.
I'm being facetious. Look, I'm from New York. Jersey, look, I've been tortured for 84 days being in Jersey. Trust me. I want nothing to do with that god-awful state. And I'm sorry. I mean, if you live in Jersey, Carmine, that seems like a personal choice.
I do.
But all
family's here. What am I going to do? They don't want me to leave.
All kidding aside, it's good to be with you guys. And speaking of elections, I mean, as a New Yorker, a lifelong New Yorker, I now have a whole new appreciation for what, you know, elections have consequences stands for. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm sorry. I have one of my kids are like bothering me. Sorry.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh my God.
There you go. Sorry, he's being annoying. Here. Sorry about that, guys. He's not camera shy. This is so strange. I'm sorry.
No, my dog likes to bark during my videos too. I understand.
Yeah. So elections have consequences, have a whole new different meaning when you really put it into play, right? What we just saw. So I'm unhappy. I'm definitely done with New York City. My husband and I want to have kids next year, and you know, it's just not the place I want to raise kids. I mean, I don't think it's a great place for people to build families and live safely. And I don't know that the direction of the city is going to go in a direction that is something that I'm comfortable with for, you know, again, raising a family. So I'm done, unfortunately. So yeah, elections have consequences. U-Haul makes a lot of money.
Well, I was having this conversation, and this is a sad thing to say, but I'm glad I was a little bit ahead of the curve because I used a moving company to come to Florida, and now I don't know. It's going to be, the prices are really going to be up there for me.
Florida's going to build a wall.
Hey, not before I get there. And if they do, I'll just jump over it. I don't care.
I think they'll let Republicans in, so you're all right.
I guess. Well, I'm an independent technically, so there's that.
Yeah, no, I think, listen, you know, like I said, for those of us of a certain age, we're all old here, right? I mean, pretty much. You know, it's
I'm sorry, I entered the wrong chat. I gotta go. Old. I'm not even 40. Get out of here.
Oh my God, well, you're a baby. Forget it. But Welcome Back Kotter is going to become like a real thing again. You know, it's that whole opening montage of Welcome Back Kotter. And you see all the graffiti and this, you know, it's 1980s and 70s New York is coming back. So
I don't know that that's something we should be excited or celebrating. But again,
no, I'm not. No.
Is it normal that Justin just sits there and stares at the camera, doesn't say a single word? It's like off-putting.
He's so calm and quiet.
He's so calm and quiet. I'm like, why? What's going on? Are you okay, buddy?
I'm good. I was up all night in a space, and I was gonna take a nap today, but then Angela was like, "Hey, you want to join us?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So, and especially because you were coming too. That's awesome.
I love you, brother. You're so sweet,
bro. I literally got done editing my last video about 30 seconds before I got here. I was like, "Angela's gonna kill me if I don't get there in time."
Yes. Be scared. Be scared.
So I have a question. Do you mind if I pose it to the panel? Like, what do you guys think about these election results? Do you think they spell trouble for the midterm? Do you think Republicans should be? Oh my God, it's raining walnuts on me.
Walnuts and birds, and
he's eating a walnut, but it's like most of it is falling up. Look at that, and it's not dandruff, folks. It's damn bird eating. So my question is, do you believe that this spells trouble? I have my theory, but I'm curious to know what everyone else is. What are you seeing in the tea leaves, and then I guess I'll give you what I think.
Sure. Well, I mean, hopefully it's a wake up call for conservatives because you know. I think this is how it was gonna go. I mean, the last year, everybody rode Trump's coattails, and that's why we saw some gains in the House and in the Senate, and so even the state elections, and so this should be a reality check for a lot of people. We have to put in more effort. We have to show up, and we're gonna need to put really good candidates that bring people out, and so it's just. It's really frustrating to get very little effort from the RNC, the GOP. They're not doing hardly anything. You don't see them out there. They're not. There's no ground game. You see people like Scott Pressler and stuff like that. They're the ones that are getting things done. They're getting the message out there. Even Elon tweeting about stuff. He does a lot more for us than the RNC does. So from that perspective, hopefully it's a wake up call for many, because even in my local elections, I saw very little effort, and it's just.
I don't donate to the RNC for that reason.
Okay.
I donate to the candidates I like, but I don't donate.
That's definitely a take, Justin. I'll love to unpack it after I guess we hear everyone else. I'm just curious.
Sure, my take is a little different. Wake up call. I think the margins were bigger than I wanted them to be or thought they would be. But let's understand what happened. Prop 50 passed in California. Mamdani won in New York City. Sherrill won in New Jersey. Spamberger won in Virginia. These are all blue states, right? So it's to a point, it's like, well, all these Democrats won in these blue states is kind of like saying to me, well, I got wet when I went in the ocean. Of course they won. Of course they won. I think Virginia was winnable. I think that New Jersey was winnable. But the fact that Democrats won in Democrat states is not a massive shocker. Also, Winsome Sears, God love her, might be the worst candidate for governor in history. She's just not exciting, right? Sometimes it's not the message. Her message is good, and what she stands for is great, but you got to have some fire. You got to have some emotion, and she's just she reminded me of like a teacher, you know, just kind of like a teacher that, you know, sitting there lecturing you and telling you don't do this and do that and do your homework. And Jack got the same kind of thing off of Jack, and I like Jack, but there's got to be some energy. I don't think this is a bellwether for the midterms. I think Democrats want to say that to, you know, gin up their base and get donations and all that, but midterms are a year away. Politics, a month is like an eternity. So this will be forgotten by then. A lot's going to depend on what happens with it's all going to come down to the economy. What happens with the economy from now till next November? I don't care about immigration, all the ICE videos you want. People vote with their bank account. End of story. Adam?
So what I would say is I'm mostly agreeing with Carmine, actually, in that I think
is that a good thing? Is that a good thing for him, Adam? Because I don't know you. So
no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. No, I think sometimes we take one election, and especially if it's a loss, and make it a much broader picture when it is just one election. And like you said, these were, even for the Republican running in like New Jersey or even Virginia, they had a shot, but it's not like it was a foregone conclusion. It's not like you know, Texas lost to a Democrat or something like that. All right, then you guys should be very concerned. These were always going to be a little bit of a toss-up, close calls. So I'm not shocked that she lost, and I kind of agree. Winsome Sears, in my opinion, didn't sound like she connected as far as what people wanted. You know, Youngkin connected with the thing of the moment. The thing of the moment was what was happening within schools. He was connecting with the parents, and that resonated. What didn't resonate at the time in a bad economy, things like that was going after Trump. That didn't resonate. You didn't really announce any solutions for people. Youngkin sounded like he had solutions and he understood what people were going through. So I think that was a very different scenario, but I just didn't think she was that great of a candidate. Granted, I didn't laser focus on her campaign, just living in New Jersey, but that's what it felt like to me. I didn't think she was going to win.
Angela, do you want to take a stab there?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that it's important to ask this question. I think that that's something that the Democrats have not done well with the last presidential election is like what went wrong and what could we do better. There's a lot of doubling down. So I just think that the overall question is important. What are the takeaways? What did we learn? I mean, it was obviously a big night for Democrats. And I think some of the things Carmine was saying, I do think it emerged that like economy, affordability seemed to be the biggest issue. And it was interesting that independents kind of went, you know, Democratic vote in like Virginia, New Jersey. So
okay, I'm going to unpack this with my opinion, obviously, but also with a little bit of historical facts. New Jersey is a blue state. So whenever people say to me, "Oh, this is a monumental loss for Republicans," I'm sorry. When a bird flies and all of a sudden it's news, you know, it's like, if this dude decides to fly off my shoulder, is that going to become news? No, it's like, it's a blue state. I guess the only big revelation is that pollsters have become rendered irrelevant, in my opinion, because everybody was polling Chitterelli within 4 points, which is the margin, and he ends up losing by double digits, which then just furthers out that polls don't really matter for absolutely squat, right? But then number two is that this tracks. This is an off-year election where Republicans unfortunately have this awful behavior on how they do politics, which is to simply focus on, we're going to invest all of our monies in red areas to boost up turnout, but they don't run a counter message in the blue areas. And in states like New Jersey, and I'm going to go one state at a time, when you have two counties like Bergen County and Essex County, who equate for almost 2/3 of the population of the state, and guess what they are? They're urban parts. That's where you have Edgewater, Jersey City, Newark, New Jersey, Elizabeth. Like this is like people on top of people, like it's a lot of people, right? And they tend to go blue. This is also a very low income area with a very low propensity voter type who is highly impressionable by what they see on TV. And Republicans think it's a waste of money, and they go ahead and ignore those areas. Democrats need to be, stop it. Democrats need to be countered in those areas so that they can, you know, the people can see an alternative message. So this is just malpractice 101 in my opinion in Jersey. Although it was a long shot. The last Republican to win was Chris Christie, and you know, it's the media is trying to now play. It's the first time that Democrats managed to hand off Jersey to another Democrat in decades, which is true, by the way. New Jersey has.
Christie passed gun laws. He wasn't really Mr. Republican.
That's my point. He was Republican light, although I liked him until I didn't. So let me not crap on all of him. So there's that. Then Virginia. Let's talk about why Virginia went Republican, and let's remember how. The team down in Virginia all won by their skin of the skin of their teeth. And let's talk about what 2021 represented. 2021 represented oppression from lockdowns, represented parents are terrorists because they ask questions about what goes on in school. And we had the most insane situation with the FBI labeling parents in Loudoun County terrorists for asking questions about the curriculum in Virginia, in Loudoun County. So I think what happened in Virginia in 2021 was really a reaction to outrage. And now they just kind of went back to status quo. And the one telling point here is that Winsome Sears is a darling. I've met her. She's an absolute darling. Oh, incredibly hardworking woman, but incredibly uninspiring. I mean, incredibly uninspiring. Very intelligent, but she doesn't have the charisma that it takes to actually put out a messaging. And you can see that because all of her counterparts outperformed her, from the lieutenant governor to the attorney general. Now, it's remarkable that people are trying to use Virginia as a bellwether. And then lastly, New York City. The only thing that changed in New York City is that we finally saw three things happen. Curtis Lewa now can go away and never show up again. Him, his wife, his beret, his dumb cats, everybody can go away. I'm so done with Curtis Lewa. Number two is very simple. Democrats in New York have shown their true colors. They are okay with socialism. They are okay with communism, and that's scary. That's very scary, especially when you look at the demographics. And then third is good riddance, Andrew Cuomo. I mean, look, just 2 days ago, I was praying to God he would win, but now I can assure you that it wasn't because I liked Andrew Cuomo, but it's because I feared Mamdani. But good riddance, Andrew Cuomo, Grandma Slayer. Now I hope that we do the right thing, which is literally indict him for killing 15,000 people, to which, by the way, he acknowledged and apologized 2 days before the election. So if anybody in the Eastern or Southern District of New York needs probable cause, the man acknowledges what he did. I think he should be looked into for the choices he made during the pandemic. So that's what I learned about New York. And, you know, thanks for giving me that little nudge to get GTFO out of here, because it's bad. So, I mean, I don't think this spells trouble for the midterms. Matter of fact, even Proposition 50 in California shows that Democrats need to cheat in order for them to even try to be competitive in 2026. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on, is that we're going to fight for what we believe in.
Yeah, that was great, man. Santos for president.
I know.
I don't know about that. No, thank you. No more politics for me.
That was great, man. You nailed everything. You nailed everything.
Look, exactly. It's not about nailing. It's not about nailing. It's about being honest and like I have to call the balls and stripes as I see them, because if I sit here and I just spin, like, what's the point? What are we getting from that? So I think, unfortunately, it's about, let's focus on what matters. Can we get Congress back to work? Can we get the government open? People are starving. I want to do a shameless plug. If you're into my cameos, right now I am donating. Every 10 cameos that come in, I have started doing donations to Island Harvest, which takes care of underprivileged underprivileged and underserved populations here on Long Island, which obviously matters to me. But I'm open and willing for the next 10 cameos to go to another organization that feeds people in this time of need, because we need to come together as Americans. If politicians aren't willing to feed our kids and our elderly, if Chuck Schumer decides he's going to continue to get in the way of that, I will do what I can. And I'm not wealthy. I'm not in the best financial means. But if that means I can give $1,000 here and there with your support, book George Santos at Cameo and see your money go to a good place. I'm posting the receipts of every donation on X, and you can follow it there.
Beautiful. I'll say this, man. The one thing that I think this shutdown shows, and I'm sure we're going to get to that, is that we're willing to shut the government down. We are willing to let children, in a lot of cases, Democrat voters' children, but any children, we're willing to let them starve. Look, some people abuse SNAP. That's true. But most people that are on SNAP really need it. And I've known some of these people. I come from, before
I was one of those people when I was a kid, Carmine.
Bro, me too. Before I was where I am now, I was born and raised poor in Newark, New Jersey. I didn't start with the Rolex. You know what I mean? I didn't start there. I started in Newark. So these people are starving. And what we've learned is that, because New York, you see, has gone so far left, Mamdani, AOC, right? Is that we're willing to starve children to save the jobs of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who know that they're about to get their asses primaried out of their jobs. So they want to show some kind of fight over a BS issue they know doesn't get handled in a CR. They know that. You don't discuss healthcare in a damn CR. We've been passing CRs forever, which is another problem, but I digress. They're willing to let kids starve to save their jobs.
Carmine, this is the same CR Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have voted for 19 times in a row in the last decade, FYI. This is also the same CR that I voted against 4 times when I was in Congress. So, and I stand on principle because I don't believe in CRs. I think Congress should do their job that they get paid $174,000 a year to do. Angela, imagine if you showed up to your job and you didn't do it and still got paid. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes and no. The answer is yes and no.
Okay. I'm literally being rained cash to walnuts on. I am so sorry. Chico is out of control here.
Would you agree, though? Would you agree, Congressman, that this is really all this shutdown is about is saving 2 jobs, Schumer and Jeffries? I believe that in my heart. If I'm wrong,
I do too. They're terrified. Jeffries already has a progressive opponent to his left that he's terrified about. And Schumer keeps looking at Alexandria as in, holy shit. Like, now, I do think Schumer should take a page out of Pelosi. Please put together a farewell video. I would love to share it for you, Chucky. And I think you should go take care of your mom, who is a darling, used to be my constituent. Darlingest of the Schumers is literally Chuck's mom. Like, an amazing, I think she's like in her 90s, like completely lucid and sober. I don't know if she's still around, but at least she was when I ran. And then a darling, an absolute darling. And I think he should really go spend some quality time with his mom while he can. Because speaking as somebody who's lost my mom, I think it's the best advice I can give Chuck. And it's also the best advice for New Yorkers and Americans is to see the old guard of both parties walk away.
The problem is who's going to replace him is AOC, and that's scary. But she's going to kick his ass. He's got to go. He should retire. Look, she's going to whoop him.
I want more people like AOC and Zora Mamdani because I want Americans to see what they're really about. I think we're only going to nip socialism and this pseudo-Marxist communism, enamored state of mind from our youth if they live it. And it sucks. So when they live it and it sucks, it will take probably a decade for them to realize it. But at least at that point, they'll snap out of it and say, yeah, this ain't it. This is
I've said that before, too. Let's have the showdown, capitalism versus communism. Let's just do it.
Yeah,
just let it happen.
To achieve the victory.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, let it happen. I know it comes at a great cost, but, Chico agreed. He nodded.
See, here, the problem is this. It'd be different if there was a new socialist party and people started voting for the socialist party. The problem is that these people are using the Democratic Party as a skin suit. And so people are voting for the party of JFK. They still believe this. And it's fundamentally different. So I think that's the only danger, is that it's between a D and a R, and no matter if it's a communist who's wearing the D or some establishment type of person who's wearing a D, they're still going to vote for it. They still have the same sense that the opposition is the same opposition. When the Republican Party has become far more of a Big Tent party in recent years, we'll see if that stays the same, than the Democratic Party. And they're getting steamrolled. They're scared because they let the Trojan horse within the walls, and they're getting steamrolled. They thought the Squad was a cute girl band. Meanwhile, here they are taking their power.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with twisties, hijabs, and hot Latinas, okay? That is one hell of a girl band, okay? But I will say this, Adam, I think you said something there that I do agree with, and I'm glad you said the quiet part out loud, so finally we can talk about it. Democrats have become a skin suit for Marxist, communist, socialists. And I love that you said that, because this is not the party of JFK. This is not the party of Roosevelt. This is not the party of Clinton. Oh, God, Clinton is a freaking MAGA Republican compared to these guys. Remember Hillary Clinton as late as 2008. Right? Marriage is between a man and a woman. The border is imperative. Americans should be prioritized over illegals. What has happened to Democrats? And the problem is that the legacy Democrats, in fear of being purged, they have pushed away people like Angela from their ranks. And a lot of other friends of mine who still identify as Democrats, but not whatever this is, right? Democrat now. And I like the Democrats of the past, because it's great to have intelligent conversations, and through the intellect of those conversations, we've always come to a better solution. Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton's relationship, historically, they disagreed on a lot, but they worked together and delivered for the people, balanced the budget of the United States 2 years in a row. I mean, those are people that I want to work with. Whatever this is, I'm sorry, I will pass on little Havana of the North here in New York City.
Hi, George.
I worry
Hi,
a lot.
Kevin. Welcome to the chat.
Kevin, you know what? You invited Kevin. I saw Kevin yesterday. This is a lot. This is overload.
It's a lot of Kevin. You know, we went 86 days without seeing each other, and then it's twice in 16 hours. So,
well, and not only that, and I have to do your show soon. It's like a lot. I don't know about that.
There's a lot of Kevin out there. But you know, just based on what you guys were saying, and I think you're totally right about the Democrats being taken over. But you're seeing this sort of populist movement on both sides, whether it's MAGA or whether it's the Marxists taking over. And I think it's because of the affirmative good they are presenting. What do I mean by that? Zoran Mamdani, I think his solutions are wrong for everything, but he's at least acknowledging that there is a problem with affordability. We saw young people break for him in ways that we've never seen young people break since the Trump era, so to speak. They went for him in gigantic numbers. Why? Because their life is unaffordable. They're never going to purchase a home. So if you're starving and somebody offers you food that you might not like, but you're hungry, you're still going to eat it. And I think that's what the Zoran Mamdani thing is all about. People know that their lives suck. They know that their lives will be infinitely worse than their parents. And this is the first generation of Americans who feel that sort of way. You used to have a plan to fail in America. You had to screw up. You had to be a druggie or get into trouble. Maybe you're in debt. You're an alcoholic. You get in crime. You had to have a plan to fail. Now you need a plan to succeed. And a lot of people don't start that plan until they're in their 30s. Then they find themselves 45 and alone with no home, living in a $5,000 a month apartment in Greenwich Village. And they're wondering what the hell do they have? Then Zoran comes along and says, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. And they say, all right, you know what? I'll take it.
If I can add, and God bless you, Kevin, for saying what you said, because that is 1,000% true. I absolutely agree with that. Communists, socialists, whatever you want to call them, are always good at identifying the problem. Their solutions are terrible. It just leads to destruction. but they're always good at identifying the problem. And the way people process things, they say, why should I vote for you? And they say, because I see your problem. And if they see that you notice the problem, the solution is not nearly as important as you noticing the problem, especially if for decades, everyone's saying, it's not a problem. Don't worry, we'll ship your job overseas. Don't worry, I know your next door neighbor is from another country and they may not be here legally, but don't worry about it. Don't be a xenophobe, right? We see the problem because we're living it. And then you have the Democrats who are saying, no, the biggest problem is race relations, or the biggest problem is gender, all these luxury things. And so they've lost view as to what people are concerned about, which led to Trump even getting into office. Trump noticed the problem, has been talking about the problem, has been seeing how it's getting worse and worse and worse. That's why he's in the position that he's in. So when we have these Democrats, socialists, whatever you want to call them, coming into power, is because they see the problem. And what I'm concerned with is that the Republicans, which under Trump and the Trump coalition, they currently see the problem, but are they going to stay on site with it or go off track with something else?
They're going to go off track.
It's concerning. To Kevin's point, I was saying to somebody yesterday, we're talking about my book, how it starts in the 1950s. And I was saying, so, you go back to the 1950s, 60s, even the 70s, right? You could survive on one income. You could have a vacation, take care of your wife and 2 kids, nice house on one income at a factory. Maybe a doctor or a lawyer, it's a factory job, right? And you take care of the whole family. Now, I could get into this, but Angela's about ready to kill me as it is because of what I said before about voting. But women's liberation destroyed this country. I'm all for women's rights. I think women should be revered, treated like queens. Love women. Don't get me wrong. But what it was a scam. It was a scam. What they did was they took the housewife and they said, this is the liberals, took the housewife and then used these subliminal messages on TV, talk about it in my book. They use these messages to tell them, if you're a housewife, your life has no value. You're not really contributing to society if you don't have a job. You're not. What they wanted was more taxpayers, right? They wanted these women out there working, create more taxpayers. Women have had the most important job in humanity for all of human history until about 15 minutes ago, which was raising the family, taking care of the home, raising the next generation. And kids are infinitely better off when they're raised by their mom. Okay? You take women's liberation, which, again, I think parts of it were great, right? Women should have the same rights as men, and all that stuff is all great. And I'm kidding about the voting thing, but you take these women and you put them in the workplace, right? You marry Tyler Moore, that girl, put it on TV, show them this is what you're supposed to do. And then all these women go to work, and guess what happens? Oh, we can raise the prices now because every home has 2 incomes, but the prices are never coming back down. So you're going to have to work forever. And now you can't survive on 1 income. You can't survive on 2 incomes. And it makes this problem that he was talking about infinitely worse because it's scaring me. I'm somebody who came, like I said, from nothing and made it, right? And I've been successful. No college education. God has blessed me greatly. And I'm grateful for that. But most people, and this is what he's talking about, they feel so defeated before they even start the race that they don't bother running.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
You know what, Carmen, I'm not familiar with your book. You gotta send me the info. But there was a great book written about 25 years ago called The 2 Income Trap, about this exact thing, about how when women started to enter the workforce, it artificially raised the prices of every house.
Wait, Kevin, can you tell them who wrote that book?
Yeah, it was this Uber MAGA lady. You guys might have heard of her. She was really against women's rights. It was Professor Elizabeth Warren.
Pocahontas.
And I got to tell you, no, and look, and I want to be clear. If the woman who wrote that book had run for president, she might have won that primary because it is diagnosed.
It's a great book.
It's a great book. Like she wrote it while she was at Harvard, and then she got into the cookbook business and failed the DNA test. The only person in history to ever do that.
I'm more Native American than Elizabeth Warren, by the way.
But this is, but she's diagnosing a real problem. I use the Al Bundy example all the time. Could you think of a shoe salesman that could raise a family of 4 and a dog in suburban Chicago?
Nice house
on shoe commission. Like, not a chance. Never. Now you need to have, in addition to your career, you need to have a side hustle. You gotta do Uber Eats after work, or you gotta do medical billing at night, or you gotta, shit post on Twitter. Not that anyone here does that for any income, but hands up, everybody. But that's what you got to do to survive, and it's shocking that
I shit post on YouTube for a living, so.
I can't get YouTube doesn't love me, so I guess Elon does. So,
so what are you gonna do? With the point that you were making about Al Bundy, that show was from started in the late 80s into the 90s, yeah. Right? So it wasn't that long ago. So what has happened? Because I know we're talking about women's liberation, which is a couple decades prior. So what happened from that point where the shoe salesman could theoretically, I know it's a show, but theoretically take care of a family on one income?
I think that was unrealistic. I don't think you could have in the time that show was out there, actually. I don't think you actually could have done that. So you jump forward to Ray Romano, Everybody Loves Raymond. He's taking care of a family on one income, but he's a sports writer at Newsday. He's making a very nice income. So his wife, my girlfriend stays home. Right? You know what I mean? Like my girlfriend doesn't work. She doesn't have to anymore, And you have to have, though, the kind of job that I have or some of you guys have where you make a lot so you can take care of a family, right? Which is crazy. What happened was, I think, like I said, I don't think the 80s was a time really when that show was out where you actually could pull that off for too many people, especially not in a house like the Bundys had, which was a really nice house.
Yeah.
I think it really, again, it takes time. It takes time for everything to go into motion. So once they tricked women into going to work, it takes time for the prices to catch up to that, right? And then go higher and higher and higher. And so I think what happened between then and now is just time. And I think, it's how much will these idiots pay for a gallon of gas? Let's try $2.50. Okay. Let's try $2.75. Let's try $3. Let's try $4. Oh, $4 is too expensive? We'll raise it down. We'll drop it to $3.50. Oh, they dropped the oil.
Wait, Carmine,
they dropped gas 50 cents.
Carmine, but on that analogy, so I guess Californians are really stupid because they pay $6.
Oh God, yes.
Well, yeah, they are.
Well, yeah. So what I was actually more so getting at is that there were 2 major reasons. So let's say you're 100% right. That's a big factor. But I think there are 2 major reasons that most people are in the predicament that they're in. One, the all-in move on globalization, where jobs don't have borders, and we can just have someone else do it somewhere else, and it can just be cheaper. And everyone was sold this promise of cheaper goods, but they were never told about the sacrifice that we met, because that factory job that was union, well, guess what? It's going to Mexico, and you're going to lose it. Okay, but sure, another Walmart can pop up in your small town, and then it'll wipe out Main Street, so you can't get a job there, so you got to work at the big corporate big box location.
I would close Walmart tomorrow. Walmart is the bane of American existence. There's actually a great documentary about what Walmart does, how they target small towns in America and then undercut the local hardware store and the butcher shop and the bicycle, the bike store. And then next thing you know, everybody's on food stamps, pain pills, and using them all at Walmart. Walmart artificially keeps their employees' salaries low, so they have to go on food stamps, to which they then use at Walmart. Like, it is that documentary.
It's a subsidy. It's a direct subsidy.
Look, if a quarter of that Walmart documentary, I'll get the name of it, is true. If a quarter of it's true, it's the worst company that's ever existed.
And you know what? People could watch that video, put that video away, and they're still going to go to Walmart after the video because they want their cheap goods, and they don't care who it hurts.
But it's also a lot of people don't have like the way this works, the way that this shows is that a lot of people don't have the option. If you live in rural America, the Walmart might be the one place within 10 miles that you can
Correct.
you know, you can go and get everything from school clothes to food. By the way, don't buy food from Walmart.
No, God, no.
I mean, just don't.
Another thing too, I think
organic, keep it organic and keep it foreign. Actually, we should stop buying made in America food until we really, I mean, totally controversial, anti-America first take here, but we should focus on purchasing goods that are produced in Europe and South America for the simple reason that they're not poisoning them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We really, if you come into my grocery, I'm sorry, I'm having a snack. I'm not sponsored by them. They're just really healthy mango snacks. If you go into my pantry, like my groceries are 90% imported. The difference is literally, 50 cents on the dollar more. So if you go and buy a box of pasta at Walmart, you're paying what, $1.99, right? For whatever Barilla, which is sold as a health good food. You go and buy an actual European brand Prosecco in an import store, you pay $2.50.
That's my brand.
You pay that, me too, but there's others even better than Prosecco. So the point I'm saying is my tomato sauce is from Romania. I mean, like not because I like Romanian tomato sauce, because it's what I can get in the European markets around me.
If you would have told everyone in New York that you bought Romanian tomato sauce, you'd have never gotten elected to Congress.
As a Jersey,
I don't care how
Italian,
good I am. I can't get no Romanian tomato sauce buyer elected to Congress. You should
as a Jersey Italian, you shoved a stake through my heart with that one.
I know, God.
So I want you to DM me. I'm going to tell you where to get whole plum tomatoes, okay? And I'm going to teach you how to make tomato sauce.
No, but you're missing the point.
There's Italian grandmothers all over Queens. Just
I probably killed all of them with that. But here's the deal. But you're missing my point. The tomatoes are grown in America. I don't trust our farming process.
No, I'll get you Italian tomatoes from Italy.
I don't know about that.
So what I would say, and I want to add one more thing to the equation, because I was saying like globalization as far as shipping jobs elsewhere, but it's also the other part. So we were hit with the double whammy. We are now importing workers, right? We're loosening immigration and allowing illegal immigration to come through. So now you don't even get an opportunity to get the jobs, the warehouse jobs. Carmine, New Jersey's filled with warehouses. And because of my previous job, I've been, fortunate to go in many of these warehouses, and it's nothing but illegal labor. Yep. It's nothing but Hispanic illegal labor. And it's not xenophobic to say this.
Are you suggesting, Adam, that Prologis' #1 workforce is illegal? I mean, in a previous life, when I was in private equity, I did a lot of work in REITs that focused on, in industrial, commercial, warehouse, logistics centers, such as Prologis. If you go up and down I-95, I mean, it's Prologistics is the abbreviation, but I would find it hard to believe. I mean, I don't know from experience, from an operational experience, but I'm shocked if you say that, because they operate at the capacity of thousands, tens of thousands of employees all across the country. So it's absolutely insane.
And you know what? I love when they pull this crap like, oh, do you want to pay $9 for a head of lettuce? And I'm like, you're making the same argument that the plantation owners made.
Yes.
Like, literally, do you know how much cotton is going to cost? Yeah, I do. Like, that's the same argument. Like, oh, right. So instead of getting off your fat ass and mowing your own lawn, you'll hire a person not a slave, but about a notch above a slave to do it. Like, instead of getting your local 15-year-old who wants to make a little side hustle on the weekends out there mowing every old lady's lawn for $20, $30, sweating his ass off on a Saturday like we did. No, we're just going to import an underclass of people to raise our children and mow our lawns and cut our beef.
Bro, where the hell? And again, as a Jerseyan, we used to get a lot of snow when I was a kid, right? We would run out there with our shovels, make a whole bunch of money on the weekend, go buy our video games. It snows here now. It's a damn ghost town. You can't see a kid for miles.
We used to
no kids.
We used to battle it out with like other neighborhood crews to like, we got to get to this big ass driveway before they wake up.
Before they do.
Like it was wild. I mean, we were also animals, but like
yes.
you know, but that was normal.
Stop saying like, we. I don't think all of us here concur with this.
Wait,
I don't know. I'm like looking to see if there's someone behind me. Like I don't know who this we is. We here in the room with us. Oh, okay, we. Because I didn't do that.
First off, George, you've met every we I was just talking about. Okay, like you know all my friends.
Matter of fact,
the bird has a lot to say on that.
Chico agrees. Here's a tomato paste I talked about. It's from Romania. It's actually really good. It's
so George, I want to answer your question. So I can't speak for that particular company, but I can tell you how it operates, and I can't say publicly. Damn, that thing's loud.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all good. I can't say the names of the companies publicly, but what I can say is you'll know some of these companies' names. They're well-known companies. What they do is they hire a third-party company to source contractors. And I'm telling you, the way they operate, they're only in Hispanic areas. They have applications in English and Spanish. When they get to the site locations, they have interpreters that work on behalf of the third-party company. And these people are considered day workers, where some of them may work there every day and selectively move around. Many of these places provide transportation. What population of people don't speak English, can't drive, and will work for minimum wage? Like, I mean, it's very obvious and in your face that is nothing.
I had a joke right there that I'm letting go. George, I'll text it. George and Angela, I have your numbers. I'll text you the joke.
But that's and it's not just
let's not get Angela kicked off of the internet, please.
Angela, you'll have to text it to me after he sends it to you because I want to know what it is.
Justin, I'll text it to you just so you can laugh too. I don't know who's gonna get at him.
But it's not just like it's one warehouse. I've been throughout the entire state of New Jersey. I've been in warehouses near Trenton, up north in near Dover, and all over New Jersey. It's the same exact operation, and with prominent companies that are using contractors, and so they're technically not their employees, but no one's asking any questions. No one was ever afraid of ICE showing up. And this was just out in the open on a daily basis, and everyone is making a killing off of it. And God knows if they're using real Social Security numbers of people who have no idea that their Social Security numbers being used to get a job somewhere. No one checks. And matter of fact, these people don't use E-Verify unless the client's request E-Verify is being used. And guess what? Most clients don't request it because everyone is in on the tape.
Yep.
So, I mean, Tom Holman would have a field day if he actually came into New Jersey and just started going to warehouse after warehouse.
Hell, I don't know why they go in the kitchen of any restaurant anywhere.
No.
Leave the kitchens alone. No, leave the kitchens alone. Focus on the warehouse. No. You know what? We get rid of the Mexicans in Chinese restaurants. Your Kung Pao chicken is going to taste like shit. Do not do it.
I'm getting canceled. I had Chinese was with you, George. Last time I had Chinese.
And it was great. And I'm telling you, Julio does a great job.
Oh my God.
I'm getting canceled. That's it.
George, hold on. How could you get canceled more?
That's true.
What are you kidding? There's like one other option.
Adam, he's making a lot of great points here, though. Seriously, there's so many people that are in on the scam. Republican and Democrat. It is bipartisan. They're making a fortune just like they were. And it's the same argument, as you said, with slavery. It was the same argument, right? Well, we don't want to raise the prices on you guys. We want this free labor. So you got the people who want the cheap goods, the people who want the free labor, and it perpetuates itself. It perpetuates itself. And the truth is, they tell you that everything's going to be horrible. If you get rid of every illegal alien, everything's going to be horrible. Well, yeah, it will be, because these people over here making a fortune would have to lower these prices. So these people that want cheap stuff can meet them in the middle. We'd get past it at some point. But
and you know what else it is?
A lot of it's about corporate profit.
Hold on, I have a question. I have a question though. True question. I'm not trying to be facetious or coy. If any one of you here can guarantee me a decent beef lo mein, I'm all for it. But just looking at the specimens here, I don't think a single one of you can. So
how the hell can you not find good Chinese food where you live? Are you kidding me? I won't say.
Oh no! I find good Chinese food, but the problem is if ICE visits the kitchens, there won't be good Chinese.
Well, see, in Jersey though, these are Chinese people making the Chinese food.
No,
not in Queens.
No, really.
But no, it's, you know what, and there is a part of the illegal immigrant labor force that no one talks about, and it's the idea of remittances. The amount of money.
Oh, that was my whole conversation. Thank you for reminding me. Go ahead.
Yeah, the money that is extracted from the U.S. economy and sent back to the third world to build up their economies is astronomical. If somebody makes $100 a week, we'll use a round number. $100 a week, and they send 30 of it back to El Salvador, back to Guatemala, back to Nicaragua, back to wherever. That's $30 that doesn't get spent at the local deli. That's $30 that doesn't get spent at the local restaurant, at the bar, at mom and pop shops on Main Street. And because of that, that is such those Western Union transfers, those overseas Venmos that go back to these countries are the reason why, if you go to some coastal areas in Central America, you go to Yaco Beach, you go to places in El Salvador, there are palaces built by regular people who have 9 family members working here and sending money back home. It is much different than like, you're going to work here, so send money back home so they have money to come here. That'd be one thing, but it's not. It's almost like the Florida economy that is continuously being benefited by New Yorkers' city salaries coming down to Florida and them never having to pay out, but all the money's coming in. That's exactly what happens in El Salvador and the rest of the Central American countries.
I have some friends overseas that make what would make you homeless here, right?
Yeah.
They make American money. They have American clientele. They have like mansions and sports cars, and we do homeless here. What they make, they're rich over there.
It's not only the illegal immigrants and sending money to Central America. Look at Germany. The United States Defense Department is 3% of Germany's entire GDP.
Yep.
So, like, they would go into a depression if we closed military bases over there that, I want to be clear, we probably don't really need. But like, it's like, so our Defense Department now subsidizes the German economy, which is so bad that it's now smaller than Nvidia. Like the amount of money that goes out of this country, not even in like the foreign aid category that I completely oppose, but just in the remittances and like DOD spending on military bases, what it does to subsidize the rest of the country while we starve to death, while there's a zombie land in Kensington, Philadelphia, makes me sick.
Well, and you make great points. The issue is actually worse, because I understand what you're saying, like sending money abroad and they were being taken care of in their home country. But the issue is worse because I'll use New Jersey as an example. New Jersey has like town enclaves up, like, whereas 80-90% Hispanic. And when you go in there, all of a sudden you see that there are stores that brandish everything in Spanish, and you go in and many of them bilingual. I can go in there and I'm fine. But you start noticing that there are different prices for cash and there's different prices for cards, right? And it's because they want to encourage cash. Well, why would they want to encourage cash? Also, they can pocket it so they don't pay taxes on it, which I'm not big on paying taxes anyways and increasing taxes for people. But
yeah, let's get rid of taxes. Bold stance.
But what I'm pointing at is that it not only does it not make it into the economy, but when it does sort of make it into the economy by going to a business that's a legal business that's established here, some of those legal businesses cater towards take their cash and it never actually makes it into our economy. They send it elsewhere, or at the very least, it doesn't make it into the tax base.
Yeah.
So
well,
it doesn't lessen the tax load.
And if you're in the Northeast, just to your point, what you're saying, can anybody tell me when the last time you got a DoorDash driver that spoke English was? That could actually have a conversation.
Stop. That's actually funny. DoorDash is great. How about when you order Uber Eats or you order Ubers and it's not even the people on the app anymore? I've been talking about this since 2022. Yeah. I've been talking about this since 2022 because not only do we have a problem with safety there, because I come from an area where a lot of unbothered, very wealthy people are unbothered with the burden of cooking, right, for their kids because they're too busy working. That's why they're wealthy. They just tell their kids, oh, order Uber Eats or order DoorDash, order Seamless, whatever it is they're ordering, right? And then there was this one instance where I ordered 2 times in a row while I was on 2 different places. I was in a Texas trip and then I was in a DC trip, and I ordered and the person was different than the app. So that struck me back in 2022 as an issue. So I said, moms, dads, be careful. You don't know, because God forbid something happens. Well, your kids are home alone and you're opening the doors to these people. They're not even the people that are registered to the app. So you can't even get the real perp. So you got to be careful.
When you see, like, I started looking at this just out of curiosity when I noticed that if you get picked up in like a 2023 car and you look at the mileage and they have 190,000 miles on the car in 18 months, it's because 3 people operate that Uber all day long, 24 hours a day. It's like 3 brothers. They get one Uber thing and they just rack in the money the entire time. And
well,
it's like,
to be fair,
and I don't know if you guys have heard, but we're giving CDLs out to people who can't read English, and they're mowing people down on the streets. Like, you don't think that's happening? And it always happened. The medallion system in New York City used to really prevent this sort of thing from happening. But now with Uber, like, what's stopping me from delivering Uber?
Kevin, what? Chico disagrees.
The hell
totally
was that noise?
That is Chico. Chico disagreed when you said that the medallions avoided it. I'm sorry, but I recall in New York City where yellow cabbies would run curbs and kill pedestrians on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
so
but then they put up all those barriers.
Well, that's because I don't want to go down any racial disparages here, and but just saying there was a very specific type of people driving these cars that were not really keen on how to drive within traffic patterns. So disagree there.
George, they call those women.
Oh my God,
Angela, are you gonna let that stand?
I don't know what happened, but we just lost Kevin.
Did we just lose Kevin?
I'm pretty sure
we just lose
Where's
Kevin? I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I gotta say, I have to jump. So I just wanted to say one last word. I love Angela Belcamino. I don't care how liberal she is. I don't care how bold of a lib she is. I'm not going to forget that the first time I was exposed to who or what an Angela Belcamino was, the bold lib, it was a picture of her and Ambassador Adams, which is crazy to say those words together. Ambassador Nick Adams sitting at a New York Young Republicans Club. I'm like, who the hell is this broad?
Eric Adams, and I was like, wait, Eric Adams.
That Angela, do you remember when I said that we met before and you were like, no, we didn't? It was with this one.
No, you say that, but
it was at the club event.
Oh, no. I wasn't at the event. I saw a picture. You met her with me at Beach Cafe.
Yes. I told that story in a space. And then
he was there.
And
he was there.
She said that never happened, and I looked like the biggest creep on planet Earth.
No, he was there that one time we were there, Angela. He was there.
It was called Beach Cafe. I don't recall going
there. It's on 2nd Avenue. It's the only place that Republicans are.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a picture. No, stop saying that. Don't say that publicly when you try to get us all killed. You stupid son of a bitch. I swear. No, real quick. So I just want to say, so that was the first time I saw who Angela Belcamino bold lib was. And I said, oh, she has to be insufferable. And then I interacted with her, I guess, a week or 2 later. And I'm like, okay, she's decent. And we went out for a hangout session. And then we went from having cocktails to ending up at a good friend of mine's apartment on the Upper East Side to eating Chinese, drinking champagne with Chinese food.
Wait, which
really like Chinese food.
George, which friend is that?
Sky Ostriker. So Sky Osh, I ended up, which is another Democrat friend of mine who I absolutely love, but she's a normal Democrat like Angela.
We just on Bold Chat. We just on Tuesday. So everybody who watched the stream then, she was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, so Sky is hosting us to this spread of Chinese food, champagne, nonstop champagne, and then some friends started coming in that were coming from a conference. All I know is that it was the most New York, I mean, the most New York moment in your life where you're in this very avant-garde apartment on the Upper East Side, very colorful art all over the walls, drinking champagne, eating Chinese food, with some of us having come from a bar. Sky had come from a news conference, and then some other friends coming from a private equity conference. You can't make this shit up. So I just wanted to say, Angela, I love you. I think you are part of the solution for how we need to cure this world and our country. You speak to anyone and everyone willing to extend an olive branch without compromising your core beliefs. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for hosting this. And thank you for having me. And I love being with all of you. Sorry that Chico is loud. He is my 5-year-old macaw that
my first bird was named Chico.
My husband adopted 2 Brazilian macaws. When I was in prison, and I think that was kind of a message for me, like, okay, do it again and watch what I'll put in here, a zoo next time. So I gotta walk a straight line before I ended up having a petting zoo here. But guys, thank you for having me. It's always great to be with you.
George,
love you guys. Justin, you need to talk more. It's like you look constipated, buddy.
Well, yeah, I get overrun by you guys because I've never actually been to New York City. Can you believe that? I've never been there in my life. So
I'm leaving before the end of the year. I think we should change that.
Okay.
Yeah. We should change that. Angela, would you come up for a quick cameo just so we can take him through the ringer?
I would love to.
Bar hopping.
And then wait till the chaos we're going to cause in Florida.
Not just that, but imagine if we take Justin bar hopping. Every chick is going to go nuts with him in the middle of Manhattan. I don't know if you're single, Jay, but you're going to go home very, very happy.
Love you so much, George.
Bye, guys.
God bless you, brother.
Bye. Nice meeting you, Adam and Carmine. Take care. Bye. Kevin, behave. Don't you please behave.
Whatever.
We like it when Kevin doesn't behave.
Oh boy. Bye.
Bye, George.
It's like I feel bad for Justin because we're all like New Yorkers and Jerseyans, and so we're overrunning. Yeah. Let's give Justin 5 minutes.
South Georgia, so
we are quite overbearing. You gotta. If you got something to say, just jump right in, bro.
Just jump in.
If not, these 3 goons up here, we're not gonna shut up.
I have something to say.
Oh yeah, but this is also the largest amount of guests we've had at one time, and you guys are all awesome. So, and I'm trying to balance it out, Jay, because now I'm in Florida. So even though I have both experiences, but go ahead, Adam.
Well, I was gonna say I have to run as well. Okay. But it was wonderful. I think this is the first time I actually talked to Carmine.
Yeah.
You might have DM'd.
We chatted on DM.
Oh,
the baby.
Cameos from Brett. This is beautiful.
I got a chow. I can't pick him up like that, but how beautiful. I love doggies. Oh my God.
Her name is Bella.
Bella?
Oh, Bella. Hey, you can tell she's spoiled.
So
yeah. All she wants to do is cuddle.
I thought you were going to say all she wants to do is dance.
And all she wants to do, oh my God, I got to play that song now.
Yeah, exactly.
And make romance.
See what Bella does. Well, thanks so much for being here, Adam. Appreciate you. Is there anything you want to shout out? Anything coming up that we need to?
Nothing really coming up. Just follow me on X at wrong_speak. My YouTube account, same handle, and my Substack, adambcoleman.substack.com.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Adam. Thanks, Bella. You guys rock. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
I'll see you later.
God bless.
Sounds good. So Kevin, before you and George popped in, we were showing a fun Mamdani video. I'm sure you've seen where he's now asking for money after saying everything is free. Now it's like, just kidding, send me the money. Yeah.
He is as talented of a narcissist as I've ever seen in my entire life. Like
the third time he's called a narcissist on the show.
I really feel like if like a psychologist were to break down like what personality traits does a serial killer have, they would show a picture of Zoran Mamdani, like confident, narcissist, arrogant, but still self-conscious at the same time, victim ideology, that smile.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Charlie Hunnam's going to play him in a show soon.
His smile is scary. When I it's funny you said I thought that. When I saw him, I was like, that's a scary dude.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a psycho smile.
Definitely. Like I'm telling you, he's got like that. He is a total narcissist. And not like, oh, I dated a narcissist once. Like, no, he's got like a pathology.
Now I got a jet too, so Justin's gonna have a chance to talk. I have the jet too.
I'll just sit here and talk to myself.
But I'll plug my book again real quick.
Yeah,
Amazon, go to Amazon, Program to Obey. We are 4 days running at #1 new release. So Program to Obey, it will open your eyes to the TV shows you watched, I promise. And Angela, I'm going to send you a copy. And
thank you.
If I see any of you people in person, I'll sign it for you. Angela, I'm going to get yours first and sign it before I send it.
Sure what you're asking for.
Thank you very much. I
What you'd like me to do.
See, I want you to stop. I said Amazon, so it just turned on. Because that's what the one in this room is called. So I just want to thank you so much for having me here. I will do this show anytime. I love being with you. I'm so sad I missed the other day. And the first time I saw Angela, I'll give my first time I saw Angela's story, which was on Twitter. I absolutely hated you. I was like, she is insufferable, but she's hot. But she's hot, and that pisses me off even more. So I was like, why are all the hot ones crazy? That was my thought. When I first saw you.
There's that actress that was that like social media influencer that was the one that started like the hot chicks for Zoran. And
yes.
And look, I want to be clear. Like 80% of them didn't fit the top line of that t-shirt, but there was like 20% of them where I was like,
yeah, like why? Like why?
Like God, it would be come on.
But I feel like
Emily Redzikowski.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That made my heart. For every one of her, we need at least 15 more Sydney Sweeney.
Yes. But I feel like Angela, inside of 5 years, the Democrat Party getting so bad, Angela's going to be a conservative because we know other place to go. So I absolutely love you, Angela. Kevin, it was nice meeting you. Justin, nice meeting you. Follow me back, by the way, if I'm following you and you're not following me. And get my book and check me out at Explain America on YouTube. And that's all the plugs I have. I love you.
Thank you, Carmine. You rock. I'm so glad you were here. I appreciate that. That's so nice. Seems that that's a common response. People are saying I was insufferable, but I'm happy to have changed some minds. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. It's been the guest lineup's been awesome. But it's so funny, Kevin, because you mentioned Sydney Sweeney. And that was, it's been such a great conversation. We haven't gotten to some of I was going to mention, Pelosi's retirement. It's like, that's the thing. Trump making Ozempic cheaper for people to access. Those are some other things going on. You're interested, Kevin? I saw the.
Well, yeah. Now, I figured now I'm not going to have to shoot my show in IMAX. I'm not going to, I could take my camera at a panoramic mode.
But so I am going to do a little trick because we're getting towards the end. I will show this little Sydney Sweeney clip and see what people think.
Criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
That is such a soft way of getting told to.
Yeah.
That I had to turn the volume down for that one, but that was just so beautiful. Like, also, you gotta love like objectively mid chick being mad at Sydney Sweeney's like genetics, like
Yeah.
with a little V-neck cardigan. And Sydney Sweeney just like she just looks like looking gorgeous, like she just rolled out of bed. Okay, like she definitely just rolled out of bed and smoke. That's it.
Yeah, I like her even more after seeing that clip. Honestly, like just being true to herself, being, who she is or whatever. I don't know why people get so mad at her. It's just ridiculous or whatever, but they've made her more of a star even, just by their outrage, and they're getting the opposite effect that they wanted because, people like me like her even more, it's
because you can't be canceled unless you allow yourself to be.
Right.
So Sydney Sweeney had capitulated. Oh, you're right. It wasn't the right ad. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
Yep.
Instead, she was just like, yo, shut up. Like,
yep, exactly. That we saw that with Caitlin Clark too. She bowed to the media, bowed to the the things that she didn't need to, and she lost a lot of fans because of that. She was carrying that league. She doesn't have to answer to anybody. She's a great basketball player. You don't have to jump into the politics. That's all we want to see from her, and that's why people liked her. And she's getting attacked. She's getting attacked by people just because she's a phenomenal player. And I wish more people were, just wouldn't bow to the media, bow to the things that they don't believe in. It just makes them look. It's a bad look.
Now that Caitlin Clark bowed to the woke pressure, I am now team Sophie Cunningham, which is the only other WNBA player I know. She's her teammate. She's also smoke show, but she's like the bad bitch that like runs girls over and doesn't care at all. So now I am team Sophie Cunningham. I don't know if she's good or not. I assume she's not, but because it's WNBA and it's just not good. But and I want to be clear. I went to high school with a girl that played in the WNBA. She was unbelievable. But like it's not good. But the Caitlin Clark thing I found to be so odd because she really had it all. Like she could have been they're going to hate you. And this is what, when it comes to canceling, particularly in the celebrity front, the people who are going to hate you, the people who are criticizing you are going to hate you either way.
Right. They still hate her.
If you capitulate to their hatred of you, then everyone who doesn't hate you is going to hate. Like Kevin Hart, right? All right, you didn't like the gay joke he made 15 years ago, which was hilarious, by the way. So then he said he wasn't going to apologize, and then he spent the next 6 weeks going on every talk show apologizing. And now I'm like, oh, you're a coward, bro. Like Charles Barkley, one of my favorite people on the planet. Definitely a Democrat, definitely a liberal. He makes jokes about fat women in San Antonio all the time, and the network forced him to apologize, and he's like, I'm not apologizing. I'm going to have fun on television, and if you don't like it, turn the channel off. And he became a legend.
Yeah, or the John Cena one where wasn't he like speaking in Chinese or whatever?
Speaking in Mandarin.
Just ridiculous. Like
it really is wild when you see these people who they have everything and they stand up for nothing. Like Joe Rogan says all the time, what's the point of having fuck you money unless you're going to tell people fuck you? And in my mind, that's absolutely true. What is the point of reaching the pinnacle of your profession only to capitulate to people who suck at everything? Yeah. All the women on like X that are like, Sydney Sweeney's not even hot. And I'm like, you are a land whale. Like, are you kidding? You want to say she's a crappy actress? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I've never seen a single thing she's in. I couldn't tell you a single thing she's in. All I know is that answer, she's going to be a star.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got a new movie coming out, Chrissy Martin story or whatever, the boxer. So that's actually going to be probably a good one.
I'm probably not going to see it. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've seen a new movie in like a decade.
I watch them from home now.
Yeah.
You can watch them on Prime.
Why would I go to the movie theater to pay, what, $300 for 2 tickets? Like,
correct.
Exactly.
You know, to watch, to what, be lectured to by Jordan Peele about income inequality or whatever the hell Get Out was about, or not Get Out. What's the other one? What the hell's the other one he made? The Others. Like, I'm good, bro.
But yeah, I think it's a good, like all of those are good examples of, just staying true to yourself, not getting trapped, not feeling and she did, in my opinion, handle it flawlessly. You can tell that the, interviewer, she tried. It was a good try. She kind of tried to present it in this way that was like likable, but like you can see what she's doing, that, like, oh, I just want to give you the chance to, speak on this. And it's like, no, girl, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. First off, I don't know who that woman is.
I don't either.
But I can't imagine Sydney Sweeney needing whatever platform that woman had to express her views about her own commercial. Like, I think Sydney Sweeney is bigger than V-neck cardigan lady with the Thelma haircut. Like, if she wanted to, she could have just done it. She could have went on TMZ. She could have went on The View. She could have done all those stuff. I literally don't even know who that woman is.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look more into that. I am curious because I'm wondering why, Sydney was even doing the interview. Maybe it was, to promote something, I'm sure.
Like I said, she definitely rolled out of bed. She's wearing she got like a jean jacket on. Her hair's all like, oh, I'm like, girl.
Yeah, that. I didn't do anything. I woke up like this.
That is the equivalent of gray sweatpants for men.
But it's, the thing is too, is like, Angela, you kind of get, like, people come at you to box you into a corner too on your content. And, that was like the common sense extremists or whatever. I mean, that's completely on brand for you. Like, they're always trying to push you to be one or the other, or to pin you down or whatever, or, I got you or whatever. Like, I see it all the time on your page, and you really stand strong. I mean, that's why I came to like you, and we don't vote the same way or whatever, but like you're pretty badass in terms of like, staying true to yourself and what you believe in. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I just think there is this tendency for people to want to like put a box on things and like figure them out and leave. And I just think that it's just not that simple. Like, there's just so much more. People are more complex and multifaceted, and there is no, whatever, black and white. Like, there's so much gray and like other things going on, and people just have, they create narratives, etc. And there is a lot of pressure around that.
But you know what? I think that's why politics is so messy now. I can't tell you how many people I'll say something on X and they're like, oh, really? Would Ronald Reagan have liked that? And I'm just like, no. But that was 45 years ago. So why don't we enter the era of cable television now? Like, what do we do? Like, I mean, look, I have non-traditional conservative views, and I'm a staunch Republican. I vote, I'm pretty happy. I got the hat on, the boss is in the back, just looking over my shoulder. But, I have non-traditionally conservative views, things that like National Review and Ben Shapiro would find abhorrent and wouldn't like. Not that topic. Don't worry, I'm not going there. Third rail. But it's I think that's why we all kind of meld into the weird place where like you might have liberal views, but we're friends, and some people try to box you in. Well, you're a Republican, so you can't be pro weed, and I'm like, no. I am, just like try not to smoke on the subway. That'd be nice. Like the whole city smells like a bong. Like it's different when it comes to politics now, and I think that's because of the decentralization of everything.
Yeah. And we can agree about certain, like we can cross over. Like there are things we can agree on and disagree on. It's not like a list of like, I agree with this, and like we're all.
I stopped watching I used to watch the Young Turks as my like liberal show. And I stopped watching it because I'm like, Anna, I'm starting to agree with you a little too much. I need a little new one here. And I was like, what are we doing? Are you coming over here or am I going over there? But, so it's like, but that's what it is. And look, even take like somebody as progressive as like Breaking Points or the Young Turks just as a show. If I agree with Jank on 2 out of 10 things, all right, cool, let's get that done. And then we'll go back to abortion and guns and taxes and, foreign policy and Israel and all the other topics that we might disagree on. But if we both believe that corporations shouldn't be able to buy single family houses because it prices young people out of the market, yeah, let's do it, baby. Let's get it done. You know, if we think that, we should be able, there's an, what's the name? Ezra Klein has a great book out called Abundance. And it's basically about how Democrats have regulated America into non-existence. And like, I'm reading it and I'm just going, I tell you, I'm not really liking that. I'm agreeing with Ezra Klein. Let's, let's make a list of 2 things that weren't going to happen this year: dunking a basketball and agreeing with Ezra Klein. But if we can get things done where we agree or may not agree, then I think that I'd rather get those things out of the way, make life a little bit better, and then we can argue about the rest.
Yeah. Kind of like any attention is good attention, like any progress is good progress, kind of a thing.
Definitely, 1,000%. Like
any movements in a positive direction.
And then let's have the fights. But I get chastised because I'll like agree with a Democrat about a traditionally a Democrat point of view on something, and I'm like, it's not a Democrat point of view; it's a populist point of view. Mm-hmm. It is something that that would make life instantly better for everyone. Like if Vanguard stopped buying up, $180,000 starter homes in Dubuque so that maybe people could get married and have children. It's really hard to have kids when you're living with your parents, so it's like, maybe that's why we're seeing population decline, because, people don't, when mom's downstairs and you're 31.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, the more we're able to talk about, like, we're finding a lot of common ground, right? It's just that the stuff that's common sense, like that we agree on, is important to highlight and showcase so that people realize, we're not that different in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, I laugh about it all the time. All my friends in the South, they were like, how are you so Republican? Like, I was born in Queens. I live on Long Island. Like, I'm in the middle of like the densest metro in America. And I'm like, because it makes sense, but then again, I'm also not like a Bible thumper. Like, I know people find that offensive, but like, I'm not like a big religious person, but I'm still finding myself on the same side as a Charlie Kirk or a Ben Shapiro or a Dennis Prager or, insert very religious conservative there. Like, I'm not, but we all find ourselves in this weird world because the systems that existed before stopped working. And I think that's where we all ended up.
Well, very well said. I really appreciate you guys being here so much, and just appreciate you both as human beings. I think you're both incredible and awesome. I appreciate you, talking with me, like I said, being willing to, somebody might cancel you for, being on here talking to me, but you're doing it anyway. So it's very bold, and I appreciate you both so much. Jay, is there anything that you have coming up or want to shout out?
Yeah, next week I'm doing a live with Mark Lucas he used to be on the Article 3 project. He does veteran action. So in honor of Veterans Day, I'm going to help him get his message out there. He does a lot of different things. I actually got my congressman to co-sponsor one of the bills that he was pushing. So he's a really awesome person, and I look forward to that. So it'll probably be midweek next week. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah. Speaking of, as a, former veteran, thank you so much for your many, many years of service, and happy Veterans Day to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. Kevin, how about you? What you got going on?
You guys can follow me right there on X, the handle's right there, or you can type in Loud Majority pretty much anywhere else. That's the name of my show, Loud Majority, live every day at 3 p.m. That's why I was a little late getting in here today. Next Wednesday, I'll be speaking at Stony Brook University out here on Long Island. That should be an absolute shit show. So it's going to be a good time. It's funny. They're giving the students a bit of a problem about me coming to speak there. And I wrote them an email saying, wow, it's weird. You didn't mind me being there when I had to pay. So suddenly, they didn't like that smart ass response.
Well, it was very bold, so more power to you. I look forward to hearing how it goes. Stay safe, please. And thanks so much for being here, guys. We'll definitely, I know you'll be back very soon. Thank you so much for your time and knowledge. And you guys, you're the best. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. So I do want to highlight a couple of comments from you. Amazing. I've really enjoyed reading the comments, feedback, questions, and I've tried to pull as many of them up as I could on screen. There's a few that I missed toward the end because I don't want to distract from where we were at topic-wise. But wanted to say thanks to Legend of 80s for Angela's looking fantastic. Obviously, I appreciate that. I appreciate Bold Lib Forever. And what else we got? I think I highlighted the rest, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of that. And I want to thank you guys so much. I hope, now that we've been doing Bold Chat this twice a week live, this was the first week of doing it 2 times. So I think we've established, because it did seem to have a pretty good audience today, trying out an evening and afternoon live stream time. So on Tuesdays, Bold Chat will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We run for about 2 hours. So 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard will be the Bold Chat live stream on Tuesdays. And then Thursdays will be this time, will be 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So twice a week, we have a new live stream. The guests are always going to be changing, some of the same players. It's been really, really awesome. As you can see, just different perspectives, backgrounds, beliefs, but really productive, positive, meaningful conversations. I think everyone is really, trying to move things forward and make positive progress for our country and connecting on a human level, building relationships. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and sharing, and for all of your comments, feedback, love. I see you. I appreciate you. I want to thank Network Access Group, who is making these live streams and my podcast possible. So also, Bold Talk is my weekly podcast. The episodes release on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rumble. So new episode coming at you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is in my bio. And that'll take you to my Rumble, where you can watch all the episodes, all the content I'm making over there on Rumble, and see the new episode when it releases on Fridays at 7 Eastern. I'm going to show you a little clip. My guest this week, I'm so excited. The interview has happened. You'll get to tune in and see it all tomorrow. But my guest for this week is the amazing American Idol finalist from the 4th season, and Broadway star, Tony nominated, Constantine Maroulis. So I'm going to show you a little clip, a little teaser for tomorrow's interview.
Help. I love help. Let's help each other also, though. Let's be good to each other and good to yourself. And let's just try to be a little nicer all around. Really difficult climate we're in right now, socially and politically. And, I think a lot more common sense all around will help us all. So I implore everyone to kind of think a bit more like in terms of that. And we are going to be very different, a lot of us, but we have to come together. And I love doing these rock shows where, some people, like I had a Bruce Springsteen set. Oh, there's this train. You're going to hear this train.
I heard a hint of it. Yeah.
No wonder this place is so cheap. wait, it'll pass in a second.
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah. And I think like, I was wearing a Bruce Springsteen. Bruce, But I'm like, what are we doing? Now we're going after Bruce Spring. I mean, this guy, so yeah. We just got to be a little bit better to each other and a bit more, one thing doesn't mean the other necessarily. Yeah. Like, just because I'm not a big fan of Trump, let's say, it doesn't mean that I'm like, I want boys in my daughter's locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, can't you understand? Like, it's about politics, but like, there's a lot we can talk about and come together on.
Wow. So that's crazy because that wasn't even planned in the sense that the clip, what Constantine is talking about there is really similar to how our conversation just ended today on Bold Chat, the live stream. So I think it's really cool that that seems to be a common theme that so many of us are feeling right now is we're in a very similar place. And the more that we talk about it with one another, the more we realize that we're like, wow, we're very similar and we're feeling a very similar way about how things are going and the state of, you know, the country and the world and all of that we're experiencing. So yeah, it's a great interview. Constantine talks, you know, about his musical journey, American Idol, Broadway, being a proud father to a girl. He's very, very involved and loving father to his daughter. But yeah, it's really endearing, and he's very humorous. Well, yeah, he talks about acting like as well because you know we both have that background. So it's very endearing, and he's very funny. So it was a very bold talk, and you guys can catch that episode tomorrow on Rumble. The link's in my bio. It releases at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'll be doing another little promo for it tomorrow, so it will remind you. But set your reminders. Follow over on Rumble so you don't miss anything. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you so much. Thanks again, Network Access Group. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you back for Bold Chat live streams every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you so soon.